The top 6 reasons why men disappear. In this video, I'm going to tell you the truth about why guys lose interest and why they disappear. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. Okay, stop me if you've heard this one before. You meet a guy, maybe online or maybe in real life, and you feel that proverbial spark. Numbers are exchanged, flirty banter ensues, and you think that this could really be something. You're really starting to like this guy. And what really revs up your feelings is the fact that he seems to really like you back. I mean, how often does that happen? So things are really going great, and you're allowing yourself to really like this guy. And just as you let yourself sink into those feelings and enjoy how amazing it is to be with a guy who really seems to like you, he's gone. He leaves. Maybe he fades away and drives you crazy in the process because you have no idea why he's being so cold and why he's being so distant. Maybe he just ghosts you. What happened? Everything was going so well. He's the one that was pursuing you. He's the one that was super into it. And now he's just gone? Like, what? It boggles your mind. You feel like a fool. You feel like you can't even trust your own judgment. This guy seemed to really like you. You can't think of anything that you did wrong here. So what happened? Where did he go? Why did he disappear? Ladies, I have been there. I have been there many times, and I know how brutal it is. But I also have uncovered the truth about why this happens. So watch this video all the way until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more relationship advice, and leave me a comment if you have any questions, any feedback. I try to answer everyone. Okay, so here's why this scenario is pretty confusing. It's because usually when a woman loses interest in a guy, she can pinpoint the reason why. She knows what it is about him that she doesn't like. It's not usually like this for guys. For guys, he can start off really into you, really interested, but then all of a sudden he has no desire to see you or talk to you ever again. And he doesn't know why. I mean, he'll agree. You're a great girl. You have a lot going for you. You're attractive, you're smart, you're funny. Like you check all the boxes. But something in him just says, no, I don't think this is right. What's that about? It's not something tangible. It's not even something that he's always aware of. I mean, sometimes, yeah, he's aware of things. He's aware of things that you did that turned him off, or he realized you guys weren't compatible, you weren't a match. So yeah, that happens as well. But a lot of the times, he just doesn't know what it was. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the most likely reasons why he lost interest and why he disappeared. Number 1, you were completely obsessed with the potential rather than the person. This is a very sneaky little trap that a lot of us fall into, especially when you meet a guy that you click with and you like him and it seems like he likes you. All of a sudden, you just get so swept away in the potential of what could be. And that's what you're focusing on rather than building something meaningful in the here and now. You're not seeing him for who he is because you don't even know him yet. All you're seeing is the potential to finally be in a relationship, and maybe a happy relationship, and maybe your last relationship. Maybe this guy's the one. Maybe you guys could get married. That's what you're so excited about and so focused on, not the actual person. A person can intuitively sense it when you're interacting with them as an object, as a means to fulfill their own desires, rather than interacting with them as an actual person. You aren't connecting to his essence. You're connecting to an ideal. You're projecting your wants and your fantasies onto him, and you're hoping that he can finally fulfill that for you. He can finally be the guy that made all the pain and all the suffering that you've been through in your life worth it, because you found this great guy and you're gonna have this amazing relationship. And that's what you're focusing on more than focusing on him. Guys can pick up on this kind of thing. No one wants to feel like they're just filling in a slot that any other person could fulfill. He doesn't want to feel like you're with him just because he's a guy and you want a boyfriend and he happens to be here. He wants to feel chosen because of who he is, for how special he is, not because he's just filling a slot that any other guy could fulfill. Another component of this is that people don't appreciate being given things that they haven't yet earned. That doesn't feel good. So when you're just, so obsessed with him and showering all this attention and affection on him before you really know him, that doesn't feel earned because he didn't have to do anything to win you over. It was just freely given to him. And that creates a yucky kind of feeling in him, a feeling of, I don't think I want to be in this situation anymore. Number 2, you're too desperate. You want him and you want him to want you. You want him to want you as badly as you want him. And that is all you're focused on. The stench of desperation poisons everything. If that is the vibe that you're sending out, and maybe you're trying to mask it, but you can't mask a stinky stench. It's still there and he can still pick up on it. Doesn't matter how much cheap perfume you spray on top of yourself. He knows what you're up to. Here's another thing about desperation. When you're desperate, you will put up with so many bad behaviors on his part because you're so desperate to win him over. You don't want to seem like a nag. You don't want to seem like you're high maintenance. So you're not going to call him out if he doesn't text you for a week, or if he flirts with other girls right in front of you, or if he is mean to you, if he says things that are insulting. Maybe you just bite your tongue because you don't want to rock the boat. You really want this guy. You really want to have a relationship with him. So you're just going to let him behave as badly as he wants to. And you think that this is going to show him that you're the cool girl. Yeah, you're the cool girl. You don't care. He can do whatever he wants. But that's not what this does. That's not what this achieves. And that's not what makes a guy like you or fall for you. That is what's going to make a guy see you as a doormat. He's going to think, oh, this is great. This girl will just stick around and I can behave as badly as I want. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to put any effort. I don't even have to be nice to her. This is amazing. So you're just going to end up in a dead end relationship or no relationship at all, because he's going to see it for how pathetic it really is and he's just going to leave. The minute you're the one trying to win him over, that is when the dynamic totally changes. That is when you are no longer intriguing to him. It's not attractive to him. There is nothing attractive about somebody desperately trying to win you over and bending over backwards in order to win you over. So once you have that, once you're the one thinking, how can I act and how can I dress to get him to notice me? And what should I say? What should I do? And what should I text him? And let me rewrite this text. And what emojis should I use? When you're the one spinning like that, that's it. You've killed it. You've killed it. Not to say that you can't be redeemed. You can, because I get questions about this all the time, but that kills any spark, any attraction, any intrigue. And all of a sudden, he is just gonna not feel that pull towards you anymore. All of a sudden, he's just gonna be overcome with this feeling of, I don't think I'm into this anymore. Desperation comes from a feeling of I am not okay, and I need this person to make me feel okay. So I am just gonna keep going after him to get more of that feeling, because I can't give myself that feeling. I need him to give me that feeling. Number 3, you stress over the relationship instead of enjoying it. Have you ever noticed that the guys that you're lukewarm about are always the ones that end up really liking you or becoming obsessed with you, and the guys that you really like are the ones that run away? Why do you think that is? Let's look at it. With the guys that you're lukewarm about, you're just curious about them. You're interested, you're feeling them out, you don't quite know how you feel. So you're, taking the interactions one step at a time and just discovering how you feel. With the guys that you really like, you're already sold. You're already sold and he's still feeling you out, and you are determined to make it work no matter what. As a result, you stress and you obsess and you analyze your behavior and you have to think things through and replay every interaction with him. And it is just a toxic energy that you're putting out there. You're not doing that with the lukewarm guys because you don't have an agenda. You're just trying to discover them. You're trying to discover if you're compatible, if there's any potential here, if there's any spark. With the guy that you decide that you are completely 100% sold on and you fixate on, there's none of that. Instead, you're sending out this stressful, anxious energy, and he can feel that. Guys are not as emotionally handicapped as we tend to think that they are, or as the media portrays them to be. Men can pick up on your emotional state very easily. He might not know, like I said earlier in the video, he might not be able to pinpoint okay, this girl is stressing and obsessing over me way too much, and I don't think I can handle it, because he probably doesn't even know that that's what you're doing necessarily. He could just feel something in the way that you are with him, in the way you interact with him, and that's what feels bad to him. That's what makes him lose his attraction for you. So look at the way that you are when you're with him or when you're not with him. Do you just feel at ease and at peace? Because that's what healthy relationships usually look like. They don't look like stressing and obsessing and worrying. Or is that what you're doing? Are you feeding into the worry and the fear of losing the guy to the point where you're crippled by the fear that the thought of losing him is just paralyzing to you? Really take a look at the perspective that you're coming from. Look back at your past relationships and see if that's how you behaved in those relationships. Maybe that explains why they didn't really get off the ground. Number 4, you commit too quick. This is something that so many women do, and I used to do the same thing. You act like his girlfriend before you are his girlfriend, in the hopes that he'll see what an amazing girlfriend you could be, and then that's gonna inspire him to commit. This is just way too much pressure for a man. And also, again, it goes back to, it doesn't feel earned. When you just give him something that he didn't work for, and he didn't really earn, and he didn't even really deserve, especially if he's like not even treating you that nicely and you're just bending over backwards, catering to his every whim, that doesn't feel good to him. It doesn't feel good to get something for nothing. It ends up coming across as too much pressure, and men really resent being backed into a corner and forced into a commitment. He's kind of like a child in that way. The more, you force him to eat his vegetables, the more he's gonna rebel and not wanna do it. Men appreciate having the space to choose. He wants the space to choose you, and you're not giving him that chance by forcing yourself upon him and forcing, a relationship to develop. When you act like that, you have an agenda. And you can't form a meaningful connection with somebody who has an agenda, with somebody who's trying to push things in a certain direction. When you're doing this, it's not coming from an authentic place. It's not coming from a place of really trying to build a deep and meaningful relationship. It's coming from a place of, I need him to give me this in order to feel okay, because I don't feel okay on my own. So I need him to be my boyfriend, and then that will mean that I'm worthy of love. That will mean that I'm worthy of something. So I need that to happen. Number 5, he was never that interested in you to begin with. This is another common trap that we can fall into, a trap that I've certainly fallen into many times in the past. You like him so much that you want to believe he likes you back. So you hold on to those small things that he says or does that indicate that maybe reality is as you want it to be. I remember with this one guy, very early on, he had said something to me like, "Well, I've never liked a girl so much after only 2 dates." And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. This guy really, really likes me. But he wasn't behaving as somebody that really liked me. He would go days and days without contacting me. And it was just very clear in looking back, obviously at the time I didn't want to believe it, that he was lukewarm about me. He liked me a little bit. I just held on to those little things he did though, and the little things that he said that aligned with how I wanted things to be. You have to look at the full picture. A lot of the times he just doesn't like you enough. And you kind of knew that that was the case, but you didn't really want to believe it. So when the relationship falls apart or he leaves, it's just because he was never really in it to begin with. A good way to know that he was never really in it is, how much of the work are you doing here? Are you the one always initiating plans? Are you the one always texting him first? Do you kind of feel like if you stopped reaching out to him, you would just never hear from him again? If that's the case, it's a clear sign that he is just not into you enough. And as we've talked about in other videos, guys are like this. Girls aren't really like this. That's why we have a hard time understanding this. When a girl likes a guy, she likes him. She is there. She is all in. A guy can like you just a little bit. Or the way I describe it usually is that he likes you, he just doesn't like you enough. And number 6, this is my favorite one of all, you are choosing guys that can't or won't give you what you want. Essentially, you are choosing the damage cases, which is something that I talk about and write about a lot. The damaged guys are the emotionally unavailable ones, or the ones who are just selfish, the bad boy who wants to be saved, and you want to be the one to save him. You want to be the one to love him back to life. And that's your pattern. You go after guys like this because it fulfills something in you. And that is a whole discussion for another time about why we go after guys like this. And if you want me to do a video on that, let me know in the comment section because I have a lot to say about it. But essentially, you are going after guys who don't want to commit. Maybe they come out and tell you, I don't want to be in a relationship right now. And you just convince yourself that with a little work, a little effort, a little bit of showing him how great you are, he's gonna change his mind and you are gonna get his love. That's not how it works in the real world. That's how it works in the movies, but movies are meant to entertain us. Movies are not a reflection of real life. If you want a reflection of real life, watch a documentary. Don't watch a romantic comedy because that is not real. That is there to entertain us. That is there for us to escape from the real world and enter fantasy world. But after fantasy world, we need to go back in the real world. Stop believing the idea that's been fed to you your whole life that the bad boy really has a heart of gold and all he needs is a good woman who's gonna just love him enough so that he can reach that goodness that's buried deep down inside. It's not how it works. And I know, I'm living proof of that because I was the girl who always wanted to love them back to life and to fix them and to heal them. And time again, I ended up with my heart broken because that's usually how it goes. One reason that we do this is maybe deep down you don't feel like you're worthy of love. So you go after guys who can't love you in a way that you want, and you use that as proof that, see, I'm not worthy after all. Because like I always tell you guys on this channel, the subconscious mind always wants validation. It always wants to prove itself right. So if you have these beliefs that have been wired into you, these bad beliefs, these beliefs that aren't serving you, beliefs that you really need to deconstruct. And sometimes that's through therapy, sometimes that's, watching this channel and getting an epiphany from me. If you have those beliefs, your subconscious mind is always going to be trying to prove itself right. And that is why you might find yourself ending up in the same situations over and over again. But like I said, that's a discussion for a different time. Essentially, the reason that we go after guys who just aren't as into us as we are into them is because deep down, we don't feel okay. And you find someone that makes you feel okay, and all you want is more of that feeling. But you have to realize this is very self-serving. This is you using him as a means to an end. That's not forming a meaningful connection. When you're stressing and you're worrying and you're obsessing over how a guy feels about you, what are you interacting with? You're not interacting with him. You're interacting with the worried thoughts that are in your mind. You can't get away from those thoughts. That's what you're forming a connection with here. That's what's becoming deeply ingrained into you. It's not with him. It's not forming a meaningful connection with him and discovering who he is and what he's about. So those are the most likely reasons why a guy will all of a sudden be overcome with this feeling of, I just don't like this girl. I don't want to talk to her anymore. I have no desire to text her or see her ever again. It usually comes down to one of those things. So the solution, as always, is to just work on yourself. Get into a good place where you're not in the needy place, the needy, desperate place that needs a man in order to feel okay. Get to a place where you can say, all right, this guy seems cool, and I'm gonna discover him, get to know him, and if it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'll be okay. I'll be fine. That is the attitude that you need to work towards having, because that is the attitude that gives him the freedom to choose you, rather than that suffocating, needy energy that is just trying to trap him into a corner in order to make you feel good about yourself. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you gained something from it. If so, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more relationship advice, leave a comment if you have any questions. For more relationship advice, sign up for our newsletter. It's at anewmode.com/subscribe. We'll put the link down below. In the newsletter, you get articles from me, you get them from Eric, my co-founder of A New Mode. So you get the male, female perspective on relationships, lots of personal stories. You get access to all of our books and our programs. So it's really great. You should definitely sign up, and I will see you guys in the next video.